we're gonna begin laying down with the strap. Later we'll want blocks, and we'll be getting into some pose, a lot of like lunges and warrior one sort of poses today, with a special focus on what's going on in the hip joint. So we'll talk about that more. Yeah, I'm just making myself a little perch, but you won't need this. If you do want something under the head, that's fine. Yeah. I just did push-ups yesterday. Oh, good for you. It's like all in here. Oh, we got situations. Yeah, so come on down. Okay. And you can, for the moment, just be however you're comfortable in terms of legs bent or straight. And same thing with the arms. They can flop out to the sides. They can rest on your belly. And just take a second to arrive into your own bodies. You know, we live here, but a lot of times we don't pay attention to what's going on until something's going wrong. So, just a few moments here and notice just how you feel. Notice how your breath is moving through you. And notice if there's any holding or gripping in your face. And see if you can let the face relax. And I find when the face can relax, the rest of the body can relax a little more easily. And just very gently let your head take a little roll from side to side. And then we'll let the head rest, and if the legs are long on the floor, let's bend up the knees and take the feet kind of wide, about mat's width distance, and just very gently let the legs drop from one side to the other, back and forth, windshield wiper effect. And then from there, we'll bring the legs back up to the center. And let's go ahead, we'll get the strap ready. So you can use any sort of loop or non-loop, any kind of hand hold that you like to bring the right leg up. And the left leg here can be bent or straight, whatever feels comfortable. And let's take a few rounds to bend and straighten the right leg. So just a little back and forth here. Yeah. And notice what's going on in your pelvis as the leg is going back and forth. You might feel like kind of a bit of a rock going on in the pelvis. And let's pause with the knee bent, just a little bit bent, and see if you notice the tailbone kind of tucking under. Go the other direction. See if you can just gently draw the tailbone a little towards the floor. Don't overdo it. And try to keep that as you press the foot up into the strap. Yeah, so the foot is pressing up into the strap. We'll keep that held. And then think about the thigh bone dropping down, so letting the ball move deeper into the socket. Yeah. And then we'll do something a little different. Let's take just a very slight bend in the right knee. Put both pieces of the strap into the left hand. And take the right thumb into the hip crease and just press it down away from your head to lengthen a little bit through the right side of the body, and then keep that as you straighten out the right leg. Yeah, and as you're here, can you continue to press the foot into the strap, the ball into the socket, and the thumb into the root of the thigh. Yeah, so we're going to back off of that. Let's bend the knee again just a little bit and take the right leg over to the left, and you choose. For me, I'm just going to go a little bit. Some of you might want to take the leg all the way over or anywhere along the path. Are you on the other side? I'm on the other side. Oh, you're following me. Just reverse when I say rights and lefts. Yeah, so we're going to do the thumb thing again. Let's hook the right thumb into the hip crease and press down. Keep that. And then whatever diagonal line your leg is on, keep that as you go straight again, reaching the heel and the ball and socket away from each other. Oh yeah, that's exciting, isn't it? Yeah. Now, one more thing to pay attention to, just have a little glance at your foot, if you can see your foot, and make sure you're pressing the inner foot as much as the outer foot. Yes, that's it. That's it. Yeah, and you'll feel that through the whole leg, that's what I'm guessing. Good. Let's come back to center. Oh, and then we'll release the leg, take it out of the strap. Just pause for a second with both legs long. And notice if there's any difference between the two. Yes, that feels a lot longer. It's amazing, isn't it? You look a miracle. You'll be walking out of here taller. So let's do the left side. We'll strap up the left foot and or heels right side. And then the right leg can be bent or straight. And just give yourself a little bit of back and forth. Yeah. I was telling Sarah, so now that I'm this much pregnant, I have to sleep with a lot of pillows in various positions. And I've been hurting my knee in my sleep because my knee knocks into this weird position. So poor Aaron, I'm like, I think we need another pillow. He's like, all right. So let's pause next time the leg is straight, or your version of straight. Actually, pause with it bent. Let's stay there. And then untuck the pelvis a little bit. So the tailbone draws more towards the floor than towards the ceiling. Try to keep that as you straighten the leg, pressing the foot into the strap and the ball into the socket. Yeah. Great. So anyway, some of these knee things, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling that differently. Let's move the strap now into the right hand and hook the left thumb at the hip crease and press down. And sometimes if you bend the knee to press down and re-lengthen, that works a little better. So keep that. Keep the thumb pressing down away from your head, the foot pressing up into the strap, and the ball pressing into the socket. Yeah. And this leg might be different than the other side. Back off a little bit. Bend the knee slightly to transition, and then we'll carry the leg over to the right side. You choose a little bit or a lot. It's really up to you. And then one more time, we'll hook the thumb. Find that little press down. And then from there, keep that as you re-lengthen the leg on the diagonal. Foot into the strap, ball into the socket. And the inner foot, we want to press as much as the outer foot. Yeah. Oh, that's the little ticket, isn't it? Foot there. Okay. So this little thumb hook that we've done, we'll do a similar action later in some of our other poses. Let's come back to center. And you can bend the knee, release the leg. Oh, yeah, and now see how tall you are. Yeah. Let's stay laying down and just circle the feet a couple of times. Just make some foot circles. Go any direction that you like. Yeah. Good. And then let's do one more round of these. Bend the knees, take the feet kind of wide, and just move through your windshield wipers. Back and forth, back and forth. Yeah. Okay. When you're ready, let's roll all the way over onto one side just to get out of this position. You can press into the floor and come upright. Oh, yeah, okay, we made it this far. So let's rearrange our position here to come to all fours position. Feel free to have one of those blankets underneath if you need it. Yeah. And then as we first arrive here, let's just start to move the spine around, and that can be anything at all. Anything at all. Circles, side bends, cat-cow. Yeah. And then let's pause. Let the movement settle down. Take your right leg back with the toes tucked under and just give yourself a little bit of back and forth. Great. So let's pause here with the leg back. Can you broaden the collarbones? Can you lift a little through the low belly and the low ribs? And then we'll lift the right leg up. Think of lifting from the inner thigh and pretend there's a wall behind your foot that you could stamp the heel into. Now pretend you have an extra hand and could hook the left thumb at the hip crease and draw that back like we did laying down. Yeah? And when you do that, you might feel the low belly turn on a little bit more. All right, we'll just be here for a second. And then let's release the leg. Take a brief child's pose. You can send the hips back. Go onto your fingertips on your hand and just give the mat a little squeeze for a second with your fingers. Yeah, that's it. Hands come back down. Reset yourself. And let's do second side. So the left leg reaches back, giving yourself a little bit of movement. You got it. And then we'll pause here. Broaden the collarbones, lift through the low ribs, lift the left leg up. Think of lifting from the inner thigh and stamp the wall back behind you with your heel. Then pretend you have another thumb and could hook the right hip and draw the right hip back a little bit. That's very subtle. Yes. Okay. And then we'll come back down. We'll go straight to side one again. So take the right leg back, lift it up. And then to add on here, if you wish, you can take the left arm straight ahead. Let's have the thumb up if you're doing that. Breathe in. And on the exhale, round the back and hover the arm and the leg in towards the midline. Inhale to re-lengthen. And take that a few times. Every time you re-lengthen, lift up through the inner thigh on the right side. Yep, we're gonna make it a little bit different. Next time we pull in, let's stay. And then instead of going straight forward and back, let's go out to the side. So the knee goes to the right, the elbow goes left, and then we come back to center. These are a little harder, aren't they? Do that a couple of times more. Yeah. Great. And then enough is enough. Release the arm, release the leg. Back to child's pose. Stay here, and this time let's turn the palms to face up and just give the fingers a little curl in and out. Alrighty, side two. So we reset. Left leg reaches back and up. Broaden the collarbones, lift through the low ribs. Right arm comes forward, maybe. Thumb is up if you've done that. Inhale. On the exhale, we'll pull it in. On the inhale, we'll re-lengthen. Take that a few more times. Every time the leg goes back, lift from the inner thigh. You got it. And then the next time we come in, we'll stay. Elbow goes right, knee goes left. And then back in. Yeah, a couple more of those. All right, and then enough is enough. Hand comes down, knee comes down. Child's pose. Your choice, any sort of extra hand stuff, anything that feels good there. You can give yourself a little wobble too. Yeah. So to give the hands a break, I'll suggest coming forward and down onto the belly unless you want to do the version where you're still in child's pose. So options for you. Those of you who do come all the way to the belly, stretch a leg back one at a time, kind of back and down like this so that you have more space at the front of the hips. And then for everybody, let's take the arms back with the palms facing up. Curl the fingers in so you make a loose fist and bend at the wrist so the back of the hand peels up off the floor. And just hold that for a second. You could do a little in and out rotation with the wrists if you wanted to. Yeah. And then we're going to let that go. Lift the front of the shoulders away from the floor so the upper back engages. And then on the next inhale, lift the arms. If you're on the belly, you can lift the legs and find this little hover up. On the exhale, we come back down. So Shalabhasana, take that a few more times. And in child's pose, you'll have to work a little harder to engage through the upper back. Be sure that that's happening here on the way up. Nice job. Next time we come up, On the way down, let's take the hands forward. If you're in child's pose, all the way forward, otherwise just under the shoulders. Let's go back into downward facing dog pose. Oh, yeah. And take a little time here. You can pedal out the legs, you can move the hips, you can move the spine. Yeah, good work. And then let's pause here. You can take your feet wider if that's more comfortable, if you need to do that. Otherwise, just any leg position is fine. Let's bend the knees a little bit here. Press the mat down and forward. And remember that thumb hook? Pretend you had 2 extra thumbs and could pull back and up right at the hip creases. Back and up without moving your hands. Yeah, keep that idea. At the very, very tops of the thighs, press wide and slowly start to re-lengthen your legs. Ah, yes, looking good, looking good. All right, friends, from here, let's take the feet wide if you didn't already. Bend the knees and walk the arms back, and the heels will land onto the floor. Let's bend the knees just for a moment, prop up so the forearms rest on the thighs, and then shift your weight really firmly into the heels. Draw back through the pelvis, forward through the chest, create tone through the torso, and let's take the arms back, yeah? Now, if you like, you can take the arms forward and out on the diagonal. Sometimes that causes this sort of rounding shape. If that's you, take the arms back instead of forward. Keep the weight in your heels and keep the upper thighs pressing out away from the midline. And let's come up on an inhale. Well done. Exhale the arms down. Yeah, we made it. And then let's stay with the feet just about right underneath your hip sockets. We'll take a few little loop circles here. Yeah. Great, go the other direction. So just to reinforce that kind of thumb hook idea, we're going to come back into another chair squat. Yay. This time keep the feet about hips width distance apart. So the thumbs will hook into the hip creases. We'll bend the knees, come back and let the thumbs draw back and also down as you pull the chest forward and a little bit up, not in the collarbones. Yeah, keep the hands here. Press into your heels. And then press the thighs out. You might even with your fingers be able to feel that engagement on the sides. Yeah. Let's keep that idea. Let go and take the hands to prayer. Lift the toes, spread them wide. And then see if you can keep space between the toes as you set them back down. Root down through the heels. Inhale, we grow tall, arms overhead. And then on the exhale, let's come down, forward fold. You can bend the knees as much as you need to do here. Take a half lift, move the chest forward. Let's come down, walk the hands forward, and we'll just come into our all fours position again. Yeah. All right, broaden the collarbones, lift a little through the low ribs. Take the right leg back and up, and this time take it a little out to the side. Don't rotate it, just let it go straight out to the side. And then straight back, and knee down. Yep, side 2. Left leg reaches back, out to the side we go, back to center, and knee down. All right, let's head into down dog. All right, stay here, bend the knees. Imaginary thumb hook, press back and up with the upper thighs, re-lengthen the legs. Now let's shift forward to plank pose. If you need to put the knees down, do. If you're good with straight legs, stay there. Everybody broaden the collarbones. Everybody lift a little through the lower ribs. Now, in a second, we'll do the same leg lift we just did. If it's too much in plank, put the knees down. Lift the right leg. Take it out to the side. Oh, yeah, back to center. And step it down, other side. We're only going to do one on each side. Oh, yeah. And then back to center, set it down. How about we rest on the belly? Yeah, good job. Take a second. Yeah, rest your forehead down and just give the hips a little wiggle from side to side. If you want to have the feet in the air, absolutely. You can do that. Nice job, guys. So let's stay on the belly. You'll slide the hands a little forward and the elbows in slightly. Now, if you're in the child's pose, let's be in a forearms parallel position. If you're on the belly, you can have the hands kind of stacked. For everybody, let yourself sink down for a second. And on the inhale, try to drag the arms back as you broaden the collarbones, lengthen to lift. If you're on child's pose, you can lift the elbows. On the exhale, lower yourself back down. Do that a few times. Find that little pull back, lengthen to lift. And we want this to be all about the engagement through the upper back. Yeah, couple more rounds. Good. Nice job, everybody. Let's take a little rest next time we come back down. Just let the forehead rest on the stacked hands. If it feels good to roll your head from side to side, you could, or to wiggle the hips from side to side, you could. Yeah, good job. When you're ready to come out, we'll head back into down dog. Go ahead and do that little imaginary thumb hook on your own as you transition into the shape. Yeah, great. Okie dokie. To get out of this, let's come to the front of the mat this time so the feet come to the hands. And then once you get there, bend the knees, press into your heels. Keep that going. Use the inhale to rise all the way up we come. Exhale the arms down. Yeah. Let's take another little hula hoop here to circle it out. Okay. And other way. You're on that spot again, aren't you? Yeah, there's a funny spot that makes noise, and Sarah always sends it there.
Jerry was there in Sunday's class, and I called him a creaky old man.
Oh no. So for the next little set, I'll suggest blocks. So let's just have them handy. Is he doing it? All right. And then we'll be at the front of the mat to begin. And let's do the same thing we did before. Not as low this time, just a little bend in the knees. And find that imaginary thumb hook pulling back. Root down through the heels. Inhale, we come up tall. Exhale, we come down. You can bend the knees as much as you need to. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Stay here for a moment. And just like we do in those cobras, can you engage the upper back? Broaden the collarbones. Let the shoulder blades move down the back. Yeah, that looks good. Take another breath in. And on the exhale, let's come down and step the right leg back. Lunge with the knee off the floor. Yeah. So a lot of times in lunge pose, the back leg gets a little droopy, a little lazy. So pretend you've got the thumb hook here and could pull the right thigh up towards the ceiling.
Nice sound effect.
Yeah. And then you've got another thumb hook on the left side. Pull that one back. Yeah, I'm taking them all out today. So move the chest forward here. Press down into the left heel. Lighten up the hands, and then some of you will do, let's all do this one actually, just the right arm back. If that's too much, don't worry about it. Put it down, and then the left arm back. Yeah, put it down. If that was fine, do both. If not, just do one side again. And if that was still fine, take the arms forward and out on the diagonal. If you start to collapse around, take them back, and the length is more important than what the arms are doing. You guys look magnificent. I know. All right. And then to get out, let's release the arms. Back knee comes down. You can grab a blanket if you need. We're going to be here for a bit. That's it. And then just a few times we'll go back and forth. Now, every time you draw back, you can walk the arms back a little bit if you need to. Think of that thumb hook on the left side pulling you back. Yeah. Now, every time you come forward, at the end of the movement, can you find a little extra lift through the chest and the engagement in the upper back? So many things, right?
Chewing gum.
Yeah. We can do it all. Great. Let's pause next time we're in the forward position. Yeah. From here, we'll bring the torso upright. And let's take the hands just on the top of the pelvis. Yeah. Can you lift up through the low belly? On the back leg, think of sending the inner thigh back a little bit. Let's take the arms up, and if you can touch palms together overhead, do. If that's too much on the shoulders, just keep them separated. Turn your chest to the left. Let the right arm come forward and the left arm come back. Yeah. And then we come back up to center. Do the same direction, same movement 2 more times. Oh, you can bend the elbows a little if that's more comfortable. It's a little bit of balance, isn't it? Yeah.
Good, nice stretch.
All right, friends, this time let's come down. Hands reset. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. And then, how about another plank pose, yeah? Let's do it. Let's do it. If you need to have the knees down, that's fine. Can you broaden the collarbones? Now you've got the double thumb hook. Find that little lift up right at the tops of the thighs. Yeah, let's make this one a little worse. Bend the knees a tiny bit. Bend the elbows a tiny bit, just barely. Turn the elbow tips towards the knee tips and try to draw the knees slightly forward. Yeah, does that make it worse?
Yes.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Happy Saturday morning. All right. How about child's pose? Yeah. Oh. You can do whatever, a little wiggle. Wiggle the hands if you need. Yeah.
I think this is the point where Mariana says, don't think bad thoughts of the yoga teacher.
Don't think bad thoughts of the yoga teacher. You can do it, you guys. You can do it. We still have the second side for the lunges. So let's hop to it. Come to down dog. Double thumb hook, imaginary here. Lengthen to lift. And then when you're ready, we'll come to the front of the mat, but let's just stay low when you get there. Take a half lift as a transition. Upper back engages, chest moves forward. Good. Come down, take the left leg back, set up how you like. I always have blocks for these. And now the back leg on the thigh, you've got a thumb hook pulling the thigh up. On the front leg, you've got another thumb hook pulling a hip back. Move the chest forward. Yeah. So already the legs are working. Let's press down more into the right leg heel. Lighten up the hands if you can. And let's try one arm at a time, right arm back. Yeah. And then down. If even that's too much, just keep them both down. It's fine. Left arm back. And down. If you want to do both, do them both. Collarbones broaden. And then maybe both arms come forward. If you do, turn the thumbs to face up. Don't let the back round. Use your legs, use your core. Yeah. Down come the arms. Down comes the back knee. Blanket if you need it. Take a few rounds here. Back and forth we go. Yeah. Now, as we come forward, at the end of the movement, find that little lift through the chest. On the way back, find that imaginary thumb hook on the right hip crease. Yeah, so forward, little lift in the chest. Back, we've got the little thumb hook. Yeah. It reminds me of, you know how those old school, like on the stage, if they're doing a bad job, they'll have the giant cane dragging them off the stage. Yeah, you got one of those on your hip. Next time the front knee bends, let's stay. And then from here, up we come. Let's take the arms up. And can you lift up through the low belly? On the back leg, roll the inner thigh back a little bit. And then hands touch if you can manage that. Yeah. Inhale. On the exhale, turn the chest to the right. Right arm goes back, left arm goes forward. Yes. Inhale to center. And then do a few more times. Yeah, you can just look at them. Last time they were looking at you. Nice job. Last round. Last round. And then we come up. And we come down, hands release. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. We're going to go for another plank pose. Paul. Just a regular one. We won't do anything too fancy. Yeah. Broaden the collarbones, lift the low ribs, lift up through the thighs just a little bit. Yep. And then let's come all the way up and back. Downward facing dog pose. We'll add in a calf stretch here. Bring your feet a little bit forward and a little closer together than you normally have them. And try to sink the right heel down, right leg is straight, left knee bends. Oh, yeah. My poor calves, they're like steel cables. Stay here. Shift the pelvis from right to left. Back and forth a couple of times. Every time I do this, I'm like, I need to stretch the calves more. And I never do. Let's go the other side. Not as much, that's fine. Yeah, do the other side. Actually, I'm doing a 10K tomorrow. So side to side. I would have done the half, but I can't. Yeah, I have a story about that, and it's disappointing, but it's okay. You know, such is life. All right, let's release that. We'll come down to the belly, and if you can't come to the belly, you'll come and roll on to one side. Yeah. Now, once you are down there, if you're on the belly, switch the legs back like you've been doing. If you're on the side, whatever leg is on top, you'll bend the knee and hold on to the foot or the ankle for a quad stretch. Now, if quads are really, really tight, you might prefer to go on your side anyway.
Left side?
Just pick a side. Now, sometimes what wants to happen here, the quad is like, yeah, this is as far as I'm going to go. And the low back will say, oh, it's cool, I'll help. It'll look like you're doing more. So instead of doing that, think about lengthening a little through the lower back, lifting up a little through the lower belly. Yeah, and that might change what you're feeling in the quads. Good. And then we'll change sides. And if you're on the side, you can roll over. I'm just lazy and don't want to do it. So I'll just do the other way. And you're on the side one. The hardest thing is rolling over, like, from one side to the other. All right. And then from here, let's release. We'll press back again into down dog. So take your time. Yeah. Oh. The down dog, though, it's feeling better. Anybody else? Yeah.
I keep my heels off the ground.
Okay. So to come out, either feet forward or hands back, or a little bit of each. A little bend, press into the heels, come up on an inhale, and down on the exhale. Great. So for our next sequence here, we'll be using a few props. Let's make sure the blocks are handy, just available at the front. And now, here at the studio, we have the super duper long straps, so just fold it in half so there's less to fool with. And then let me show you the setup. And of course, black pants, black strap. I'll try to explain it really well because you can't see it that well. So you'll have the right foot back and the left foot forward. You'll kind of lean forward, and we want the strap to go around the front of the right thigh. Yeah? So one goes in between the legs, and then the other goes on the right side. Yeah. And then we're all women here, so you'll slide up a little higher, and then we'll hold, so the strap is acting kind of as our thumb hook on the back leg. Use the hands, let's have the palms facing back, and pull straight back with the arms, which will give you a little work for the triceps, yeah? And then back off. Now, notice what happens through the rest of the body when you do that little pull. So we pull back through the arms. Do you get a little taller? Yeah, and then back off. Let's do one more time. So we'll keep that. And then the front knee will bend kind of like a warrior one. It's probably a shorty warrior one. That's okay. But yeah, arms are working pretty hard, aren't they? Yeah. So let's keep that idea. Careful of the buckle. You don't want it to fall on your foot. Just let the strap drop. That's it. And then if you need to adjust your stance a little bit, sometimes you do. Pretend you still have the strap there and keep pressing down through the back heel. Let's take the arms forward and up. And think of lifting the rib cage up off of the pelvis. Yeah, you guys. All right. Now from here, let's inhale to straighten out the front leg. And as we exhale, bend the front knee, elbows bend, engage the upper back, and do that a few times more. So the inhale, we rise, and the exhale, we hinge. Now the whole time, pretend you have the strap pull on the back leg. And then we're going to do something on the front leg. So the next time we're in the hinged over position, let's stay. Take the right hand just to the hip, take the left hand and do the thumb hook and draw back. Yeah, as you're doing that, move the chest forward. And then we'll keep the idea. Release the hands down. I'll recommend on blocks here. Draw the pelvis back, the chest forward, and try to keep that as you dig the left heel into the floor and try to push it forward to go straighter in the leg. Yeah. Great. Great. You guys look good. You guys look good. We're going to make it a little bit worse. Bend the front knee, not a lot, just a little. And if it's okay to walk the arms forward a little ahead of the foot, do. And then one more time, move the chest forward, the pelvis back. Try this. Press the hands down onto the blocks, and without moving them, try to drag them back. And that'll help engage your back, yeah? And then we'll press deep firmly into the left heel. Try to push the left heel forward as you go straighter in the leg. It might not go straight, and that's fine. Mine doesn't. Yeah, Sarah, are you breathing?
Yeah.
I'm just asking. Let's do one more. Bend the knee. Take the blocks forward. If that's not a great decision, don't do it. Push down, try to pull them back, pull the chest forward, and then press into the left leg heel to lengthen. Oh, yeah. Oh, Faith, she's never coming back.
So I have this knee bent.
It'll go towards straight, but for most of us, it won't go completely straight.
I have to say,
Yeah.
I'm never coming back to flat.
Yeah. I'm torturing the new students. Yeah, let's come back with the arms. Hot. And now go again with the chest, and it should be easier this time. Yeah, let's bend the front knee. Step the back foot forward. Oh, inhale up and come. Exhale downwards. Let's move it out.
My decision to do arms and my weight workout
Oh,
yesterday
That's
was
a good idea, huh?
the other way. Regretting that decision.
I think, yeah, sometimes 2 days in a row is a bit much, but I think engaging the upper back is always. Okay, can we do the other leg?
Sure.
I think we better. All right, so just as a reminder, it's very awkward setup. Right leg is forward, left leg is back, and it's not too long of a stance. You'll slide the strap so it goes in between the right hand, the strap's in between the legs, and the left hand is on the outside of the left leg. Yeah. All right. And then before we go, can you broaden the collarbones? Palms of the hands face back, and then we pull back. Yeah. And then we let it go, and indeed, no doubt about it, the arms are working. But feel what's happening in the rest of the body, in the leg, in the spine. Yeah. And then go again. Last one here, we're gonna hold. Stay like that, bend the front knee. If you need to adjust your position a little bit, you can. Yeah. All right. So let's keep this idea. Careful of the buckle so it doesn't fall on your foot. Just let the strap go. And then you might bend the front knee a little bit more. Let's hinge the torso slightly forward. Find your imaginary strap still. Lengthen the ribs away from the pelvis, and then we'll come up. So just slightly different entry than before. Yeah, see if you can be nice and tall, nice and long. Lift it, and then we'll hinge forward again. Take the right hand to that thumb hook, left hand just to the hip. Pull back with the right hand forward through the chest. Yeah, let's keep this idea. We'll put the hands back down. And then from here, move the chest forward again. Press into the right heel and try to press it forward as the leg starts to lengthen without letting your upper body collapse. Yeah. So if you can go a little straight, yes, good. And for this one, the blocks are about in line with the front foot. All right, and then let's bend the front knee a little bit. Walk the blocks forward if that's tolerable, just a little ahead of the front foot before we straighten the leg. Move the chest forward, try to pull the blocks back without moving them, and then press into the heel. Draw back through the right hip. Find that imaginary thumb hook. Oh, the side's different, isn't it? Yeah. One more spot. Little bend. Only if it's a good idea. Go again, a little further forward. If that's not wise, don't do it. Press down, pull the blocks back, pull the chest forward, and then dig the heel into the floor as we go straighter in the leg. Yeah. How exciting. Yeah, I can hear you breathing. I just want to make sure folks at home are still breathing. Sometimes we hold our breath and then that doesn't help us out. Yeah. All right, take the arms back and see how much easier it is to find the length now. Yeah, in the spine. Good. Bend the front knee a little, step the back foot forward, root down to rise up. Yay! And the arms come down. Yeah, just take a second. All right. So next we'll do, for our balance today, it's a variation on Warrior 3 pose. And we'll have the hands down on the blocks. Maybe we'll lift an arm, but I want to really think about it in terms of the legs. So if your strap is still there, just put it so you don't, it's not in the way. And then let's come into standing forward fold with the hands on blocks. If you're at home and you don't have blocks, you could use like a coffee table or something approximately block height. Now, if you feel like you need to go higher than your blocks, you can make a little tower. You can stack them up. All right, let's bring the feet closer to each other. Take a little bend in both knees, just a little bend. And then we'll take the right leg back. The right leg will go straight. Let's keep the left knee bent. And then think of lifting up from the inner thigh. Remember, we did this kind of on the knees. Stamp the heel into an imaginary wall. And on the left side, imaginary thumb hook. Pull the left hip back. Pull the chest forward. And then if you're feeling good to add on, let's take the left arm and stretch it straight back alongside you. If you're still feeling good to add on, same arm slices down and then out in front of you, thumb faces up. Yeah, and that's as much as we're gonna do today. Let's put the hand down, step the foot down, stay down there but go wide and just take a little side to side for a second. Yeah. Warrior 3, it's not an easy pose. And then we'll go side 2. So let's bring the feet again closer than you normally stand. They don't have to touch. Little bend in the knees. Left leg reaches back, lift up from the inner thigh. And the left leg, go ahead and let it go straight. Stamp the imaginary wall with your heel. And then on the right side, imaginary thumb hook. Pull back through the top of the thigh. Move the chest forward. That's it. If you want to straighten the right leg, you can. I forgot to say that on the other side. I'm going to keep a little bit of a bend. And then the right arm can come back if that's a good decision. Keep everything else the same. Right arm comes forward, maybe. Thumb up if you're doing that. Yes. You breathing? Just asking. Down comes the hand. Down comes the leg. Separate nice and wide. Little wiggle side to side. Yes, yogis. Bend the knees, shift back. Inhale to rise. Exhale, arms down. Oh, yeah. Let's do Slitherasana. I think some of the poses are made up, like Slitherasana. I wouldn't know. I love that I have new people because they don't know. Yeah. All right. So next we'll take a wide-legged forward fold. It looks something like this. Let's have you guys all face this direction. And if you know you need blocks under your hands, you can set those up. Before we go down, though, have a little peek at your feet. And make sure they're on the same line. Sometimes one foot ends at the head of the other. Yeah, you can line it up with the edge of the mat. And also make sure that toes are facing forward. Let's start with a little bend in the knees, and as we hinge, actually go ahead and do it. Take the thumbs, we'll do a real thumb hook. So we'll draw back as we come forward, back with the legs forward through the chest, and then down. Hands land. Let's land them right under the shoulders. We'll do more in a second. At the tops of the thighs, press wider. Notice if we do that excessively, the weight goes toward the pinky side of the foot. Hug them a little through the ankles just to make the weight even on the footprint. Yeah. And then don't move the hips, but walk the arms forward. And if you're able to go on your fingertips, do. Think about growing long through both sides of the waist, like you're doing down dog in the upper body. And keep the length here. If it feels all right to start walking the arms back, keep the fingers facing forward, but how far back you go just really depends on your body today. If you're able to bend the elbows, even just a little bit, do. And turn the elbow tips in. Don't let them turn out. Press the very front of the shoulder away from the floor. Yeah, so we find that little engagement again through the upper back. Prasarita Padottanasana, the name of the pose. Yeah. And then we'll reset, hands just right underneath the shoulders. Heel tuck the feet in slightly so your base is a little more narrow. Bend the knees, shift the weight into the heels. Create tone through the abdomen, and on the inhale, we come out and up with the arms. Exhale, the arms come back down. And then we'll reset ourselves, and you guys can turn the feet to me. Yeah, let's just wiggle.
Love that.
Yeah. Is that a good pose for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Go the other direction. I was corrected one time. I was calling it Prasarita, but the teacher who knew Sanskrit, she's like, no, it's Prasarita. So, now I know. Yeah, I didn't know that before, so. No, it's just.
Oh, okay. It just, I usually can see it a little bit more, and I was like,
No, I got this silly hairdo, yeah.
okay.
All right, guys, let's sit down. I'll have a seat. You might want to sit on a blanket too. I'll just show you how that might look. And then I'll be kind of specific here. Let's cross so the right shin is in front of the left shin, right about at the middle of the shins. Yeah, Sukhasana.
Are you sure you're saying that right?
Sukhasana. Pretty sure.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. And if you lean to one side, you'll drag your buttocks flush back. And then do that on the other side. Yeah. And guess what we're going to do? Thumb hook. Find the thumbs here. Press down and let the fingers kind of wrap around the sides of the legs. Sit up really tall. Broaden the collarbones. And then your thumbs press down and back as you hinge the torso forward. Oh, yeah. Hopefully that kind of hits the spot. Now, option, if you like the little thumb barrier here, keep that by all means. If you want to take the arms forward, kind of like the pose we just did, you'll crawl forward, 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 lengthen. Yeah? And then some of you will come down from there, and some of you will stay kind of in that more upright diagonal. It just depends. You know, take the option that feels the best. If you wanted to take a little side to side, that might feel good too. The hip stretches, I think, are so much more satisfying if you've done some work there first. Yeah. All right, friends, let's start to curl the arms back then. Oh, we'll switcheroo the legs. Other one, left one comes in front. This is my second favorite side. Try to be right in the middle or as close to that as you can. And then if you need to do this one again, feel free. Let's hook our thumbs. Press down, let the fingers wrap around the sides. Go up first, and then the thumbs push down and back as the chest angles forward. Feel free to stay with the hands. Feel free to crawl them out. Go forward though before you come down if you're going down. Oh, yeah. Or don't go down. And maybe add in a little sides. Okay. And from here, friends, let's regroup. Walk the arms back. Undo the legs. Yeah, just put them out in front and give them a little babasana. Yeah, just kind of shake them out a little bit. Okay. And then from here, let's come to lay down again on your back. And we'll see a little bit more once you get there. You shouldn't need any props unless you need something for under the head. Yeah. So from your laying down position, let's start with the knees bent, feet on the floor. Take the feet at least hips width, don't go too wide, but if you need to go a little wider, that's fine. The right foot will sneak under in between the left heel and the left buttock, and the right knee kind of drops down out to the side. If you need a prop here, you might want to put something under the thigh. And then we'll pick up the left leg and bring it in and hold on to the left leg with your arms. And you might have discovered this is more about the right leg than the left leg. Yeah. Now, be very, very gentle with this. Notice the curvature in your lumbar spine. And we're going to leave the tailbone alone, but think of, I don't want to even say push down, think of creating more space widthwise right about at the lower back ribs. So think of just widening that area, and that might lessen your lumbar curve somewhat. We're not trying to flatten it. It's just expanding a little through the back ribs, and that might give you a little more stretch in the leg, because that's where the psoas attaches. Yeah. Okay, friends, let's undo the left leg first. And then undo the right leg. Before we swap sides, take the hands to your thighs, kind of right where we have the thumbs, but now it's the flat hand, and just press straight ahead. Create a little space. Yeah, and then we'll back off. Hook the left foot in between the right foot and the right buttock. If you need the prop, take it. Right leg comes in, we'll hold on with the arms. Yeah, and this is a different side, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So just try to breathe, relax. Don't try to breathe, really breathe. And try to relax. Yeah. And then think about, again, those lower back ribs. Just see if they can sink down and widen, but don't push them down. It's more of an undoing than a doing. Yeah. I forgot to say this on the first side. We can relax the feet for this one. Sometimes the feet are so used to working that they forget. They can relax here. Yeah, let's undo. Reset. And one last time, find that press. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then if there's any other movement that you need to take before we conclude, anything at all, go ahead and do. If there are any props that you need to set up for yourself, go ahead and do. So our last pose will be Shavasana. And what you can do, you can either lay down on the back if that's comfortable, or what you might want, and I'll show you. You can take the two blocks like this, and then the blanket on top, and then put your legs over it. It's like a little homey bolster, and then lay down like that, and that, for most people, feels pretty good. Yeah, and then just fold the, like, or you can even use both of them. Fold them this way. Yeah. And then you'll just lay down and slide that whole thing under the thighs. Perfect. All right, friends, as we start to settle into Shavasana, without a thumb hook, we're done with that idea. But in the same area where we had the thumbs, can you relax right there? And imagine the thigh bones just becoming heavier and naturally dropping downward towards the floor. And see if you can relax the belly. Let the belly move every time you take a breath. Can you relax your face, all around the eyes, mouth, your ears. You're going to deepen your breath. And if it feels good here, you can take a little head roll. Wiggle the fingers, the toes. Yeah, and you can take a little stretch, a little reach with the arms. And when it feels right, bend up your knees and very gently roll over to one side. And then from there, press into the floor. We'll meet sitting. You can sit any way you like. Hands right at heart center. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.
Namaste.